Vec, isn't he electric? That guy's awesome. Huh? He's great. All right, it's great to be here in Nevada. Great to be back. Did you guys, how many of you are from Nevada? Most of you, right? Notice how I said Nevada, not Nevada. I lived here. I grew up here. When I was 7 years old, we moved here. People said, how'd you guys move all the way over there? I said, simple. They had jobs for people like my parents. And we lived here. There was not, when I lived here, talking about like 1980 through 1985, it was not the kid-friendliest place in America. There wasn't that much to do, to be honest. I mean, there was an ice skating rink in Henderson. When nobody even knew where Henderson was, it was where the ice skating rink was. And I've just seen this place grow so dynamically. And now I got to tell you guys, you're at the center and at the heart of this election. You really are. I truly believe that how this state goes is how this election is going to go. And Vivek mentioned a moment ago, we were just with President Trump in Arizona, and Arizona had a message. They're like, they're going to do their part. Ask Nevada if they're going to do their part to save our country and make it great again. So they want to know if you're going to do your part. And every time that I come here, I'm reminded of my childhood, and I think that's important because I think about my parents for a moment. My parents were immigrants from Cuba. There's Cubans here? All right. Be careful with the Cubans. Be careful with the Cubans. My parents were immigrants. They didn't really go to a lot of school in their own country. My dad was nothing more than, he was a bartender at Sam's Town. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to start dating myself. My mom was a maid at the Imperial Palace. Huh? That's back when they used to have this thing. That was our family outing. We used to go see this thing called Legends in Concert, which was, so old-timers remember Legends in Concert. It was like a fake Elvis, and it was like either one week it was the fat Elvis, the other week it was the skinny Elvis. Marilyn Monroe, whatever. My point is, that's the jobs they had. And you know what my parents were able to do with those jobs? A bartender and a maid? They owned a home. We didn't get to go to a lot. I mean, we didn't have everything we wanted. We had everything we needed. And the most important thing my parents were able to achieve is they were able to leave all four of their children better off than themselves. If there weren't any taxes on tips, the way Donald Trump is going to do, maybe we would have had more than what we wanted. But anyway, my parents achieved the American dream. They were never rich. They were never famous. They never owned more than one home. In fact, we never owned more than one car, primarily because my mom didn't like to drive. But they never owned more than one car. But they lived the American dream. They didn't leave us any money. They left us something even more important, and that is the chance to be anything we wanted to be. And that's possible because I was born a citizen of the greatest nation in the history of all mankind. And it's important to remember that. It's important to say that. You never hear that on the other side. Not enough. When the other side talks about the greatness of America, it always comes with an asterisk. Yeah, we're the greatest country in the world, but... and they'll fill in something we don't do right or something we did wrong 200 years ago or 150 years ago. Guys, I've never claimed that America's history is perfect, by the way. I've only claimed that our history is better than anybody else's history by far. We are a nation of progress and of opportunity, a nation that has changed the world and inspired the people of the world. But it's in trouble. You know it's in trouble. We know it's in trouble. It is a nation whose borders are not secure. We're not secure. This is not immigration. What's happening on our border, that's not immigration. That is mass migration. That is a total breakdown and total chaos, and it's by design. And that needs to stop. That is the choice in this election between a president, Donald J. Trump, who gave us the most secure border in modern history, and Kamala Harris, who as Vice President of the United States was the border czar and has allowed this country to be overrun by millions and millions of people from all over the world. My parents were able to achieve the American dream like so many of you, because when I grew up, Bacon didn't cost $150 or whatever the crazy price is now. And that's the choice in this election. Between a man, when he was president, we had an economy where prices were stable, salaries were going up, and people could afford to have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month, against Kamala Harris, who has presided over runaway inflation, an unaffordable an unaffordable economy, a stale and stagnant job market. No matter what they tell you, your paychecks are not keeping pace with prices. They've destroyed our economy and set us back. It's a choice. It's a choice between a president who had us on the road and had us right there at the precipice of complete and total energy independence. We don't have to worry about any other country in the world. We can fuel our economy because God has blessed us with those resources, and we were doing that under Donald Trump. And a vice president who wants to keep us from using our natural resources, and wants to force everyone to have to drive an electric car. And I like the guy who makes a lot of the electric cars, by the way. I'm not anti-electric car. I'm not anti-electric car. I've always called them golf carts, but I'm not against anti-electric car. I'm not banning them. But you can't run a modern economy on electric cars and solar panels. You just can't. You can't do it. And we have an opportunity to generate our own energy, and it's clean and it's American. That's the choice. So what do you do? What do you do if you know you can't run on your record? And Kamala Harris can't run on a record. She was asked the other day, what would you do different than Joe Biden? I can't think of anything. And this was on The View, so it was like in the morning. 8 people were watching, and so she wasn't tired. And she couldn't think of a single thing she would have done different. That tells you everything you need to know. We can't afford another. If we have another 4 years like the last 4 years, you won't recognize your country. You won't. A President Biden-Harris administration that had us humiliated in Afghanistan. Absolutely humiliated. In fact, it's not a coincidence that after Afghanistan happened, Ukraine happened, October 7th happened, all the stuff China's doing against the Philippines happened, and maybe Taiwan soon enough happened. Because they said, this guy's weak, Joe Biden, and America's weak because he's weak, and we can get away with it. That wasn't happening under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump, the head of the number one terrorist in the world that worked for Iran, Soleimani, he died. ISIS wiped out. No wars were started. Ukraine wasn't invaded. Israel wasn't invaded. The world was safe. And by the way, that guy in North Korea, he stopped launching missiles. That's the strength we need in our country again. That's what this election is about. Saving our country, restoring our country, so your children, your grandchildren can inherit what we inherited, the greatest country in the history of the world. This election is about saving America, and there's only one way to save America. We have to win in Nevada. We have to win that Senate seat with Sam Brown. You got to come out and vote for him. He needs your support as well. And you need to do a huge service to your country. You need to make sure that everyone you know turns out and votes, so that in about, 12 days now? Less than 12 days, we will once again have a president, Donald J. Trump, running this country, saving this country, and making it what it belongs, a great country. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you.